And welcome everybody to a special live edition of the Risorto Report. I figure because of the NHL announcement just now, we get on with this special announcement of the NHL resuming play sometime in July, if all goes well, possibly. Let's just hope and pray that everything goes well. So what do we know? We know that 24 teams that are not the New Jersey Devils, that are not the Ottawa Senators, that sure as hell are not the Detroit Red Wings, that are not the LA Kings, and that are not the Anaheim Ducks. That's quite a lot of teams that are missing the playoffs. So I want to say I just lost count, so I don't really care. But all in all, that's a lot of teams to be missing the playoffs. But a lot of teams that are in the playoffs, for that matter. But that's not the issue. Let's see where this goes now. Let's see where the road takes us. It is going to be a 24-team bracket, which means 12 teams from the West and 12 teams of the East, whichever one you want to discuss. And you know what? I feel like wearing sunglasses for this because who am I to deny myself? I might take them off later. Who knows? But the point is, we now have the NHL. We have the NHL back, hopefully soon. And the way this is going, it's also confusing because I watched the entire thing of Gary Bettman going. And honestly, it was hard to follow. Because with everything going on, and I can't see a damn thing that's going on unless I go like this. But so this, it's just because these aren't prescription, I'm just going to view it like this. So, where are we at? 24 teams. And that includes the New York Islanders. And it involves, for all my Ranger fans out there, the New York Rangers. However, I am very happy that this New York Islanders team is actually in the playoffs. It's going by percentage points. It's not going by just points. It's going by percentage. What seeds, who knows? But all we know is that teams such as the Carolina Hurricanes, the New York Rangers, and the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the New York Islanders, and the Columbus Blue Jackets, those teams will be in. However, they will be going and facing the teams, and they'll be facing each other, so to speak. So in this instance, the New York Rangers would be facing the Carolina Hurricanes. I would do effects, but I don't know how. The New York Islanders would be facing against the Florida Panthers. The Toronto Maple Leafs would be going against the Columbus Blue Jackets, and I think that was it. Nope, there's one more. And the Pittsburgh Penguins would go up against the Philadelphia Flyers, if I've looked at this correctly. Let me just double check here. That way, so I'm not in the wrong. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I was wrong. The Pittsburgh Penguins will instead be facing the Montreal Canadiens, leaving the Flyers and the Capitals in the Metro Division, so to speak, having that little bye week or whatnot. But I was right for the most part otherwise. Now, let's see here. I got a couple of Ranger fans who are cheering their heads off, and good for them. Their team made the playoffs. In essence, those teams are really going to make it. Because with the Islanders falling this COVID-19 BS, it saved the Isles in a sense because had the season kept going on, in my opinion, I don't think the Islanders would have made it. That's just me personally. Listen, there would have been time for them to, for them to get everything situated, get everything straightened out. But the way things were going with the Rangers on a roll, that would have been some difficult doo-doo to maneuver through. It would have been. Yes, it would have. Don't question me on that. Because a 7-game losing streak, is that acceptable by any means? And I will say it right now, unacceptable. It would have been. I'm trying to not to sound like Yoda in a sense, but because I must and I must and I shan't and I won't and I don't know what the hell I'm saying. And I tend to ramble. I know I like to ramble. I'm trying to find a picture, honestly, of this playoff format because it was just on there and I want to try and find it so I could read it off to you so that we have a good understanding of this. Mr. Bettman, this, that. Where is the damn picture? Let's see. NHL 24 team brackets. Let's see here. Did somebody post it? Okay, here's a bit of a video.
In the Eastern Conference.
Okay. So the teams in this conference, in the Eastern Conference, Boston Bruins, the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Washington Capitals, the Philadelphia Flyers. That's your top four. The Capitals, the Bruins, Tampa, Washington, and Philly are your top four. And the rest are Pittsburgh, Carolina, the Isles, Toronto, Columbus, Florida, the Rangers, and Montreal. So far, it's looking good for the Islanders. And for the West, here comes the West. Here's the top four in the West. The Blues, Colorado, Vegas, and Dallas. Those are your top four. And the rest of it goes as shown: Edmonton, Nashville, Vancouver, Calgary, Winnipeg, Minnesota, Arizona, and Chicago. Who would have thought Chicago would have made the playoffs? Honestly, who would have thought? I didn't. And do you know where I'm looking at? Do you even know? Can you see where the eyeballs are going? No, it's not. That's the point. So let's see where this is going. The round robin for seeding, however you want to put that, or whatever you want to call it. The round robin is, okay, I think I get where that's going. The round robin is when each team, like say the Rangers or the Islanders or the Tampa, or not the Tampa, the Toronto or the Columbus or the Hurricanes or Pittsburgh or Montreal, whoever wins those rounds will either be facing Boston, Tampa, Washington, and or Philly, depending on the orders and depending on the bracket. And I think it goes by seed too. They don't have it. So the first round, the first best qualifying team that they're saying is Pittsburgh versus Montreal. Okay. Next one, Carolina versus the Rangers. Next, Islanders versus the Panthers, and Toronto versus Columbus. And for the West, it's going to be Edmonton versus Chicago. Let's see here. Nashville versus Arizona. Vancouver versus Minnesota. Again, who would have thought Minnesota, or Chicago for that matter. And Calgary versus Winnipeg. That's all I've got here so far. Now, the interesting part of this is now with these two hub cities, which is, we don't know, it's could be Chicago, could be Columbus, it could be anywhere. It's mostly going to focus on East and West, as we all know. Maybe a Canadian city, who knows? But I can tell you this, that there is going to be no such thing as home ice advantage. Not this season, at least. It's not going to be this season where we're going to have home ice. And you'll have to forgive me. I'm, like I said, I can't see what these things are. These aren't prescription. But I do plan on getting a prescription lens for these so that I could read things to you while having a prescription instead of going things blindly. The round robin is for teams that have the bye. Yes, that is correct, Julian. Those teams, Tampa, Boston, Philly, and Washington will be having off. That's their bye week, so to speak. And St. Louis, Dallas, Colorado, and I forgot who else I said. The other team, Vegas, they'll be having that supposed bye week as well. So whoever's saying, oh, well, the Islanders will have this or the Rangers will have that because of home ice, it's not going to mean a thing. There is no home ice in this season. There is no home ice this upcoming NHL playoffs, whenever they may be. Because of which, fans will be saying, oh, well, they lost because of this, they lost because of that. No, you won't lose because of that. You won't lose because of background noise. They might have a horn for whoever's, the home team or whatnot, but it really isn't going to matter. We don't know. I don't think it was announced that there was any going to be fans attending. I doubt it, but for this sake, I don't think it really matters unless they're allowing just local fans of that area where it's at. So be it, for that matter. They could cheer, the team they want. Oh yeah, let's say for instance the West is in Edmonton. Oh yeah, go Minnesota, go this. Oh, it's not going to matter, but wait until the Oilers come in, then we'll really cheer. The whole thing to me is that it could get a little confusing, but you know what? For what it's worth, I'll take it. And yes, Dan, the Rangers are in the playoffs. Predictions for the Florida series. Well, seeing as we don't know what's going on, but the only thing we know now is the placement. It's going to be in a hub city, and we know what the bracket is going to be. It's going to be the Islanders versus the Panthers. That's what I'm concerned with right now. The thing that I see for the Islanders, I can see the Islanders winning in 5. Honestly, wholeheartedly, with everything restarted, with Cizikas hopefully healthy. I doubt Pelech is coming back. Let me just point that out there. I don't think he's coming back because that was a gruesome Achilles injury, although we didn't really see. But we didn't see what happened, and it was projected that he probably wouldn't make it back until next season or deep into a playoff run. But because so much time has passed and so much time is still going to pass, it's a possibility. I'm not going to lie about it. Lose the shades. All right, fine. Because my public hates my shades, because I wanted to look somewhat cool, I will ditch the shades. But they looked cute. All right? They looked cute. You'd have to be impartial for the goal horns. You'd have to, but at the same time, they might not do music for the goal horn. However, they might just, brrr with the goal horn, and that's it. Hub cities: Vancouver, Edmonton, Columbus, Vegas, Dallas, Toronto. It'd be one city for each conference. It wouldn't be multiple. I think it's just going to be one city for each conference. I think that's how it's going to be, depending on it. But, hey, that could change. The shades were cool. You see, somebody likes these shades. You know what? Screw the people. I'm wearing the shades, although I'll take them off from time. You know what? Screw them. I'll just keep them off. Once I get the prescriptions, I'm keeping them on. And that's how it will be. Okay. So where do we go from here? A few others listed. I'm not going to go through the whole city, but it's each conference is assigned to a hub city, which means only 2 cities. So one for the Western Conference, one for the East. That's how it's going to be. Now, do I think the Islanders will win in 5? I think they could. However, I think they could lose in 5. What do I think of the Rangers? I think the Rangers can honestly, I think the Rangers might lose in 5. I think they'll put up a great fight, but I think Carolina's just overall better. Okay, here it is. Top 4 teams in each conference play a round robin for seeding, yada, yada, yada. Don't really give a shit. Remaining 8 teams in the conference to play best of 5 qualifying rounds with playoff overtime. First and second rounds to be best of 5 or best of 7. That is yet to be determined. But the conference finals and the Stanley Cup final will be a best of 7. If the Owls lose in three games in a sweep to Florida, would I fire Mr. Lou Lamoriello? Holy beard, Elliot Friedman. My God. Wow. I never thought he'd grow a beard like that. It's got some white. It's got some mostly dark. Damn, that's a good-looking beard. Have you all seen this? Have you all seen Elliot Friedman's beard? It is epic. It's an epic beard. This is an epic Friedman beard. Wow. Elliot Friedman. Damn. That's a nice beard. I'm in shock of this beard here. My God. We see, normally playoff beards and beards on, maybe, the little trim and all that. But Elliot Friedman with what looks like a playoff beard? Is this a COVID beard by chance? When the playoffs start, will he be shaving it off, or will he be shaving it off when the playoffs end? That's the question I have to ask. That's an epic beard. Castaway beard. Nah, it's just a nice beard. Ryan, how are you? Mr. John, how are you? But point being, back to where we were going with this. If the Islanders don't make the playoffs, if they get swept by the Florida Panthers, I don't think Lou gets the hook yet. But he is under the microscope, especially with Sorokin not being signed yet. My quarantine shaved head is better. Well, so is mine, and I didn't shave it. I just sevened it. But still, the hat stays. That's an epic beard, though. Not as epic as a Brent Burns beard. Let us be aware of that. Still an epic beard. I caught Bettman when he was discussing draft position. I don't really care about draft position. I'm at the point where I really don't care about the draft. It's hit or miss with me because I don't follow it. Lou is on the clock after the season is over. Matt, you are correct. He is on the clock after the season is over because this is his offseason. If he cannot get this team a top 6 goal scorer or a goal scorer of any caliber that isn't a fourth liner, Okay, here, before we go, here's the potential cities: Chicago, Columbus, Dallas, Edmonton, Vegas, Los Angeles, Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul, wherever, Pittsburgh, Toronto, and Vancouver. Now back to what I was saying. Lou has this offseason. In my opinion, this is his final offseason to really make a stance and really to say, okay, I could put a contender together. I could put a team together that has fearful goal scoring, that could put fear in the other team's eyes. Because you want to know what this team doesn't have? That goal scorer. They don't have that. Oh, well, Matthew Barzal, he's definitely that goal scorer. No, he ain't. He's a good skater. He's a good passer. But he can't carry the load all on his own. He's a first-line center for this team, yes. But guess who's been scoring the most goals? Brock Nelson. If you want to put J.G. Pageau in there, sure. But I'm talking about for the whole season, not just for a part of it. I feel like I'm using the force. Not for part of it. You will use the force. You will understand this. And yes, you will. Barzal birthday today. Well, happy birthday, Barzy. Did you do anything for me yet? No, you did not. But that's neither here nor there. Hopefully you are celebrating doing something, maybe drinking a little bit, maybe growing out a beard, although that might be against Lamoriello policy, but who cares? Pageau, third-line center, yes. We already knew that. We already knew this. But what are your thoughts on this playoff format? With the Islanders facing the Panthers, with the Rangers facing the Canes, with the Toronto Maple Leafs facing Columbus, and someone's texting me. No, that's Twitter. Ooh. Well, isn't that something? Okay, so I've got to post something on a Mets page now. And it's going to be breaking. Yes, it is. What do you think of the playoff format? I'd honestly like to know your opinions on it. Say it in the comments so I can read it after I'm done posting this to a Mets website. Breaking! MLB proposes pay cuts for highest paid players. Garrett Cole, Jacob deGrom, all those guys. While giving I should probably put that in. Lower paid goving. I don't know what a does anybody know what a goving is? No. I think it's just a typo of giving. Lowest paid full this thing could work for me. Full prorated shares. And that's the breaking. And guess what? No link. Because you all know where this is coming from. It's coming from the Twitterverse and all other verses. Let's see. Potential hub cities, yes, we know. 1 to 20 teams, but 2 teams, top 2 teams getting buys. Top 4. Concentrate on this show. Well, I had a breaking update to post, so you just leave it at that. LGI, always believe. Well, yes, always believe. You could do that and all that stuff. Panthers in 4. I disagree. I think it's going to be the Isles in 5, honestly, because, well, we have Barry Trotz, and he knows how to form a team. To those who disagree, you know who you are. Thinking, oh, hey, we could get DJ Smith, or we could get Gerard Gallant. Well, where's Gerard Gallant at? Gerard Gallant is busy on the unemployment line, like so many others. But in a different instance, not because of COVID. It's because of lack of good coaching. You know it's bad when Peter DeBoer gets fired from San Jose and then hired by Las Vegas, and then John Hines gets fired from New Jersey and gets hired in Nashville, and then manages to beat the ever-living hell out of the Islanders. Ain't that something? Thoughts on charts and graphs? Listen, analytics are fine. They are fine, yes, but you have to balance it out. It can't be just, oh, I'm doing all metrics, and that's how I'm going to sell a game. You got to watch the eye test, too. And I mean that, where you have to use the eye test, because you can use the charts and graphs and the analytics all you want. But You can't just say, oh, well, this guy's good because of this. Or, as I've seen comments in other groups and forums, oh, hey, the Rangers were worse defensively than Detroit. How can you say the Rangers are worse than Detroit? Oh, well, the sabermetrics and the charts and graphs. No. No, 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 and no. How can you even think about saying the Rangers are worse than the Red Wings defensively? My God. Maybe in shots per game, maybe, but my God. Seriously. Who is your bottom six forwards towards Florida? That's a good question. Honestly, if I'm going what I want versus what's going to be realistically, and I'll list that too. My honest opinion, it should be Ladd, Pajot, Bellows, Martin Cizikas, Clutterbuck. How I think it'll go is probably going to be Dal Cole, Pajot, and probably Komarov with Martin Cizikas, Clutterbuck. It's going to be a slow showing. But I trust Trotz. I know some others don't. But I do. I trust Trotz. In Trotz I trust. In Trotz we trust. In Trust we Trotz. In Trotz we trust. In Trust we Trotz. Right? Interesting. Sports Stats Live. Alive. Yeah. I don't know who you are. But okay. Johnston's here's what Matt's saying here. You got to make a choice. It's either one or the other. You have to say there's no ors in this. You have to really go for it. No ors. It's just straight up because it's it's the playoffs and this is and that's and drainage and fence and all that. I don't know why I said drainage and fence. Random thought of the day. Makes you wonder, will these players be wearing masks during this? I doubt it, but wonderful. We don't know who we are. How are you, Sports Stats Live? I'm Greg. How are you? What's your name? Why don't you tell me so we can get to know each other? Okay, Matt here. Will Sorokin be signed before training facilities open? I don't know. And the more time goes by that Sorokin isn't signed, I start to worry. I'm great. Well, great. I'm nice to meet you, great. Nice to meet you, great. I'd like to know your actual name. I'm not asking for last names. I'm simply asking for your first. Or if you want to give me your middle name and just pass that off as your last, why not? Third and fourth lines. I understand that. So your third line looks like to be Bellows, Pajot, and Dal Cole, or Ladd. I'm going to guess Dal Cole because this is where it's going. And the fourth line is Johnston, Cizikas, and Clutterbuck. I'd say that's a decent line. The only problem I have with it is Johnston commits too many penalties. Oh, Joe, how are you, Mr. Joe? Perfect. Your name is Mr. Joe. I'm Mr. Greg. We're all nice people here. For the most part, we're all nice people. So for the most part, let's see where things are going here. Will Sorokin sign before training facilities reopen? It's a great question. And the way things are going, it's not looking good. Now, in defense of Lou, it could be that Sorokin is signed already. It's a possibility. And he's just, using that, if you have time, use it. And I just sprayed myself with an eyeglass cleaner. Alcoholic-y. But overall, if he's signed, why not just announce it? If he's not signed, here's the issue I have. Why isn't he signed yet? Why not sign him into next year for an ELCO 1 year? I don't know how this works, and maybe I sprayed myself again with, in case you think I'm disgusting, with eyeglass cleaner. See? Very simple. And it might have looked dirty, I know. Shut your mouths and get your minds out of the gutters. I'd like to know why Sorokin isn't signed yet. Is it because of COVID fears? Is it because Lou is having a tough time sealing the deal with Sorokin? I want to know. I really do. Since the regular season is officially over, who was the team MVP? That's a tough one. I can tell you who it's not. It's not Noah Dobson. I wish it was Pajot, but no. I'd have to say, in all honesty, the season MVP for the Islanders, Brock Nelson. I'd have to say it like that. It's Brock Nelson. I think the team MVP is Brock Nelson without a shadow of a doubt. Tommy Broccoli, you join us. Yes, Brock Nelson is the team MVP. For the next 5 minutes, it's time for questions and answers. You have the questions. I probably have the answers. I probably don't. But either way, hit me with your questions before I decide to go out and get dinner. I'm starving. And because I also have other things I need to finish up around the house. And I just wanted to say, hey, and, well, all that. So the Islanders, here's how we go. Okay, how do you pause this TV? I can pause the TV. I just paused it. Yes, I did. So here's how the best of 5 series goes, and these are the seeds. Bruins are first seed. Tampa is second. Capitals are third. And the Flyers are the 4th seed. Now, the Penguins are the 5th seed. They are going to face off against the 12th seed in Montreal Canadiens. The Hurricanes are the 6th seed and will be facing the Rangers, who are the 11th seed. The Islanders are the 7th seed, and they'll be facing the 10th seeded Panthers. And the Maple Leafs are the 8th seed, facing against the 9th seeded Columbus Blue Jackets. But they've got Elvis Merzlikins. And you know to always trust an Elvis. Because, oh yeah, baby, thank you very much. Excuse me. And now I am just currently waiting for when it goes to the Western Conference, although I have to screw it. I probably missed it. But Panthers in 4, I still say that I still say Isles in 5 no matter what. That's just me. Head-to-head statistics, the Rangers are 4-0 against the Hurricanes. And these, mind you, are all regulation. No overtime. Actually going 0 for 4. And the Rangers, I think, have a solid team. They're not good defensively, but they're better offensively than the Islanders. And they're certainly better defensively than Detroit. I'm sorry, I had to get that out there. I think Canes in 5 and Isles in 5. What other questions do you all have to share with moi? I'd like to know your questionos. Questiono little battles. I already picked them. Is a pick 'em. I already picked who I think will win. I think it is going to be the Carolina Hurricanes in 5. It's your time for questions, people. But that's just how I see it. I see it as the Islanders will go and face whomever, and the Carolina Hurricanes will face whomever. The one that I'm having trouble picking, honestly, in this instance, and it's not the Toronto Maple Leafs. I almost said Blue Jays. I got baseball on the mind. I almost said here's the series I can pick. I could pick Toronto and Columbus. I think Columbus will win that game that series in 4 games. However, I think the most difficult to pick as of right now is Pittsburgh versus Montreal. That could go either way. That one's very difficult to pick, and I think for this show's purposes, I think I'm going to go Pittsburgh in 5 games. I can see Montreal putting up a hell of a fight, and who knows, maybe they'll win. But I think Pittsburgh will win. But we'll just see. If you're going to ask me about the draft lottery, don't ask. I don't care. Or I just don't care to know much. Really. Whatnot. But point being, you've got 1 more minute to ask me questions of any sort whatsoever. And it's any question at all that you want to ask. And there is no. Stick to it being hockey related, my friends. Please. I prefer hockey questions. you're going to have to give me a hockey question. If not, then we will end. Otherwise, we'll continue. Because that's how it is. And if you don't have a problem with that, then oh well. Because oh well. Oh well. You got 30 seconds before I end this podcast. 30 seconds. And once that strikes the 40, that's it. You got 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And no more questions. Pittsburgh, and the last one by Jay Rich, which was submitted just in time, was Pittsburgh, Florida, Toronto, and the Rangers will advance. That is his prediction. I tend to think Islanders, Canes, Pittsburgh, and Columbus will advance. But that's just me. And so then, I shall bid you all adieu. And the next time I see you will hopefully be after an Islander game where I will be doing my show and the Divine Bell will be coming back to us because I all know how terribly, how so subsequently you need to hear the Divine Bell's comfort of everything because I just know you miss it with all of your hearts. I'm right on that. So, thank you very much, everybody, for watching the Risorto Report Isles and NHL Update Live video. I will see you guys whenever the Islanders play next. And the next time, if Sorokin signs. Or any update on that for that matter. So, I will see you all later. Have a great day and stay safe.